What? I cut my mouse off. Boogie, boy, stop playing. No, I ain't your last. What? Let's see. Welcome, Breakthrough Crew. Chambers. Boogie, boy, stop playing, girl. I ain't your last. Y'all. Cloud engineer trainer. I like the ring of that. I like the ring of that. I like the ring of that, baby. Let's get it going, baby. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That hit the spot right there. What's happening, tribe? I mean, what's going on, Breakthrough Crew, the tribe? I was refer to my cloud students, students in my boot camp as tribe, because we are a tribe, you know what I'm saying? So I'm so used to saying tribe all week. I've been talking to them. I just got the phone with one student, so that's why. Anyway, what's happening, Breakthrough Crew? My peoples. We checking in tonight? Are we loud? Man, Cordes, what's going on? Man, you know we sipping on today, baby. Tequila. Wife made nachos last night. Some delicious nachos. I must add, some very delicious nachos. And I want to have them again tonight. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna have them again tonight. And I felt I didn't have tequila last night. I was too exhausted. But tonight, it's been that kind of a day. I'm drinking. And I skipped the gym today. All right. I'm breaking all kind of I'm all out of bounds today, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna be out of bounds the wrong way, baby. Then we're gonna go all the way out the road. You hear me? This is the 1800 coconut, by the way. 1800 coconut. What you sipping on, Corda? Corda's got the whiskey. Okay, that's now you talking. Now you're talking. I like that. I like that energy, baby. I like that energy. NC worker. NC, good evening. What are you sipping on this evening? Frankie, baby. Frankie, baby. You probably at the gym right now. Do a squat for me, bro. Do a squat for me, bro. But and you probably drinking a little milkshake, a little weight shake, a protein shake. You know what I'm saying? You probably ain't sipping nothing good tonight, but we sip good around here. Mm-hmm. Man, I really appreciate y'all for sticking with me last week, for real. The video went out. I'm gonna tell y'all what happened, what I think happened anyway, from a technical perspective. My PC, my Mac. So this is why you shouldn't have a bad habit of just putting your PC on sleep, like moi. All right. When you're done using your PC, at least once or twice a week, do a complete shutdown. All right. Because when you don't do a complete shutdown, when you start up the machine, all your drivers aren't going to always be in sync and updated. All right. But when you shut down your PC and you boot it back up, it forces it through the internet connection to update all the drivers as necessary. Well, I'm using the Logic Cam to shoot these streams. That's why the quality is there, baby. I even got a light today. I got a bit special light. No more ceiling lights. I got a light for y'all, but I didn't update. It's probably been like a week or two, maybe longer, since I did a shutdown on my MacBook. So that's what I think happened. The driver needed to be updated, and then it just went out, just gave out on me. So if it go out on me again today, we're gonna go with the MacBook webcam, until I get that situated, till I can trust it. So I appreciate y'all for rocking with me last week. It was just like, I can't believe I'm still in awe that y'all really stayed on throughout the entire Tech at Night session. And that really meant something to me, for real. But we here today. We got video today. It's not just podcast style today. It's not podcast style today. All right, what's happening, Joe, baby? Yeah, you had the beginning, Joe. Yeah. But Joe, you got to tell us what you're sipping, man. You got to tell us what you're drinking. That's what you failed to do, baby. You here on time, baby. But now we got to know what's in your cup, or in your glass. All right. Cordis, you still didn't tell us what kind of whiskey you're drinking, though. Because if it's a good brand, you know what I'm saying? We want to share, share in the good brands of spirits, in the spirit of learning cloud tech skills. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, this 1800 coconut is one of my favorites, actually. When I lived in South Florida, I used to drink this weekly, but it's one of my favorites. It's been a while since I had it. Actually, it's probably been a couple months, but reminds me tonight I just needed it, baby. It's been a long day of meetings. Yes, actually, yesterday was still jet lag fatigue from yesterday's meetings and busyness and work. So, but we're gonna get into some good content tonight. I got some great things I want to touch on. Great topic. Oh, Tito's and OJ. Oh, Joe. Okay, you got a strong chest. You drink Tito's and OJ at night. Woo! In your spare time. Oh yeah. Yeah, you're rough. I can tell you got a beard. Beard drinkers drink that. First class, what's happening, baby? First class, you getting on with me tonight, man? Well, let me know. If you getting on with me tonight, put your email in the chat. I'm gonna send you the link to hop on the host with me tonight. Just let me know though. All right. But make sure you got clothes on. You know what I'm saying? I know it's in the evening and everybody kick back. It's still a public broadcast. You hear me? Japanese whiskey. Hibiki. Okay. Fancy, you say. Japanese whiskey is some good whiskey. All right, y'all need to take notes on that. The Japanese make some good whiskey. So, getting into the topics, we're going to talk about the 5 top skills that especially new cloud engineers need to know. These are top skills that every cloud engineer really needs to know. But I'm going to be honest with you, from my experience being in the field, working with dozens of cloud engineers and helping dozens more cloud engineers in the industry, most of us don't have these skills. All right. Most of us don't have these skills. And I'm going to preface it by saying this. You're not going to walk in, especially in your first tech role, you're not going to walk into a role being proficient in everything. Ridiculous expectation. You want to sell that you're proficient enough and all that in the interview. That's why it's so important to prepare for your interviews and be prepared to answer the right type of questions in interviews. And we do that type of training in our boot camp. But after you get past the salesman part of selling yourself, of being adequate enough to solve a company's tech problems, you're not coming in the door first off doing 20% of what they ask for on the job board. We talked about that before. On top of that, they really just want you to be you got to be proficient at something, but just have awareness of these other skills. And then most importantly, have the desire to want to build your skill in these other areas of these other cloud technical skills. All right. We're going to go over each of them. All right. And I'm going to tell you about my journey of how I gradually built my skills. Like, I didn't even know Linux really well until I started my first cloud infrastructure engineer role, and I was already making 6 figures by that point. And I don't, you all know me, I don't like talking about the money because the money is there. We all know that. But I just wanted to kind of give you that preface of knowing that you don't have to have it all together to reach high heights within this technical field. You know what I'm saying? Because you have other specialties. You have other higher skills, you know. Um, and most companies, like I always say, they're not as technology mature as they put on, you know, as even their products are that they put out. Shout out to Rabbit, R Rabbit, that R Rabbit product that came out, that little AI device. But that's a whole nother conversation. But we're gonna get into this. You give me next time. All right, cool. All right, cool, cool, cool. I'm gonna ask anybody. Anybody want to get on and co-host with me tonight? I'm gonna leave that open. If you want to co-host tonight, and you've someone that's been around, this ain't your first rodeo. You've been on these tech at nights with us, rocking with the Breakthrough crew. If you want to co-host with us tonight, um, shoot your email, and I'm gonna give you a link. Only opening up the door to one person tonight. All right, but you know what? And I got to start making breakthrough. We got our breakthrough team, our quadrant. You know, I got to figure out a way to highlight, you know, us, the people that's been here building this channel up, participating in the weeds of building your cloud career, you know, because it's going to take much more of a bigger effort than just me to help educate every family, especially every family in America, to have at least one cloud engineer who's a family member. That's my goal, is to help every family in America have at least one cloud engineer in their family. All right, because that's how vast and how critical tech is and about to be for our entire future. Like everything is going to be tech, tech, tech. So you need to have engineers in your family that can. It's like having a mechanic. Every family should has a mechanic or some type of handyman. You need to have some type of cloud engineer on that. Hey, Jasmine, you at work? You sipping water? Water's cool. Water's cool. Water's cool. I'll let that slide. I'll let that slide. You know what? All right, so let's get this cracking. All right, so I wanted to say we need a community here. We do. We knew. I'm gonna figure out a way to create. Maybe it needs to be a group chat, or maybe it needs to be a LinkedIn group. Maybe a LinkedIn group. Maybe a Facebook. I don't want to do too much Facebook group. There's too much distractions on Facebook. We need to semi keep it professional. So it might be a LinkedIn group. I might create a breakthrough crew. So we'll see. I'll let y'all know. But yeah, so I wanted to get in these skills. So again, prefacing, you don't need to know everything to become a cloud engineer. You don't. Not a cloud security engineer, any kind of cloud tech professional. Because trust me, there's nobody who knows it all. All right. And you'll be highly surprised going into cloud engineers who have been in the industry for 2 to 3 years who don't even have most of these skills I'm about to go over. All right. Or aren't proficient in any of these areas of skills. So we're going to start with the first skill. Anybody want to take a guess? And I'm not going to sit here and have you guess all 5 skills. That'll take way too long. But guess the first skill that you think a cloud engineer must have coming into the role. Either they're coming into the role. Yeah, we're going to say that. The first skill a cloud engineer needs to have. Just going to leave it on there like that. Because I don't know if I want to address just newbies or those involved, because I want to, they kind of both meet in the same parking lot anyway, you know. But yeah, just number one skill, the top skill a cloud engineer needs to have. Let's just leave it at that. What do you think the number one top skill is? All right. And I'm not even going to say in the order. I'm going to list them out in order, but realistically, it's not in orders, because you can get hired on being leading in one of these skills that I mentioned is number 4, number 5, and you're not that good at number 1 and number 2. I've seen it with my own eyes. All right. What's happening? Spontaneous. What you sipping on? What y'all think? What y'all think is the number one skill cloud engineers need to have? I'll give y'all a little time to figure that out. Sipping on that water. I was gonna sip some water tonight, by the way, but I was like, nah, it's that kind of night. I'm drinking with y'all tonight. Sidecar. Is that are you using that in reference of Kubernetes? Because you can use sidecar in Kubernetes. Don't ask me exactly what that is, because I'm not 100% sure, but I just know it's something along the lines of your Kubernetes app. I don't know. Your container. Oh yeah, your container running alongside some other computing function that ensures that container runs. But no. Oh, you drinking a sidecar? Look at me. My hair is all in the cloud. You talking about a regular drink. Okay. Soft skills. Joe said soft skills. Soft skills. No, it's not the top skill. That's not the number one skill I'm gonna start with. But soft skills, I do want to preface this, is probably the most important skill. I would say that it's not on this top five list because this is purely technical skills we're referring to. But you need soft skills. That's like number one out of every skill I'm about to mention, because if you can talk your way in and out of situations and manage people well and deal with people well and work most importantly, work well under pressure and under stress, especially during troubleshooting. Oh yeah, you're gonna get far. You're gonna get very, because the technical stuff you're gonna figure out, but your soft skills got to give you that cushion, and will buy you enough time to be able to figure out those skills. All right, so the number one skill is understanding cloud service providers. Ding 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 ding. So what I mean by that is, this is why it's important when you start studying for what's happening. Linda, what's going on? What you sipping on? This is why it's important that when you come into when you start studying, do your cloud training, that you identify immediately which cloud platform you want to start building your expertise in. All right, does as I've always said, that doesn't mean that you're going to stay in that cloud platform throughout the duration of your career, but you want to start somewhere. You want to start getting really good at one specific cloud provider first. It's going to save you a lot of time, save you a lot of headache, and give you a concrete foundation, because eventually you're going to find out throughout your career all of the cloud providers are foundationally the same. Foundationally the same. All right. But that's number one. The number one skill is you need to be able to speak to the various type of services and what these services do within the cloud platform. So if you're in AWS, you need to know how EC2s are. You need to know what they are. You need to know what is the EC2 family tree. You need to know about vPCUs. You need to know about memory. You need to know which EC2 type is best for various kind of operational tasks. You need to know about S3 buckets. You need to know about tier S3 tier intelligence. Like, that's just AWS, knowing that well. Then you need to go into, if you're a Google Cloud person, you need to know more. You need to know about Bigtable, BigQuery. You need to know about Google. I can't think of the other ones off the top of my head, but it's like the equivalent of a Lambda function in Google. But yeah, you just need to know Google well. Azure, you need to know about Key Vault. You need to know about network security groups. You need to know about virtual networks. You need to know about VMs. You need to know about subscriptions. You need to know about, like, your cloud foundation needs to be strong. And one of the certifications that does help that, which is a granular certification, especially in AWS, is that solutions architect. That is one major advantage of that architect certification in any platform, actually, is that it gives you a grandioso and depth understanding of all the critical cloud services that platform offers. So that's number one, is you need to have proficient knowledge of the cloud services. All right, of the cloud platform that you're studying in, or interviewing, or preparing to interview for, or preparing to work within that capacity of. So if your company has got you working on AWS and they're migrating to AWS, or they're doing hybrid with Azure, or they're kicking off everything in Google Cloud, you need to prep yourself to become one of the go-to persons that just knows it really well. You don't have to be a SME, but you need to be able to explain and speak to how companies benefit from services. All right. And most importantly, how to troubleshoot those services if they go wrong, or at least know where to go to what type of white papers to go to, documentation to go to help you troubleshoot. So that's number one, is knowing and learning cloud services, understanding the cloud providers, cloud service providers. The number two skill that every cloud engineer needs to know is proficiency with infrastructure as code. IAC, infrastructure as code. All right. Many of you all probably have heard of IAC. It's becoming a new thing now. It's really a great automation tool. Many of you probably haven't done it before because, to be honest with you, it's just not highly promoted. But trust me, on the other side, when you're in the industry, when you're on these scrum calls, etc., most of the companies that are cloud mature are trying to automate. And one of those tools that helps them automate faster is an IAC infrastructure. So they want to get you out of that. See, when you learn that first skill of cloud service providers, like me, you get to clicking around those buttons, right? That's why I did my first role. We clicking around the console a lot to solve problems and fix tickets and complete tasks. But um, once as you're maturing as an engineer, it's critical that you learn infrastructure as code. All right. Now, every role you get into in the cloud, especially as a cloud engineer, isn't going to require you to do IAC stacks. However, it's a highly valuable skill. Um, Terraform is one of the leading deployment tools of that. It helps you deploy your infrastructure to the cloud. So it takes you from your local machine to the cloud. All right, using Terraform. So somebody at first class asked, "Is that Python?" Well, um, it's not. It's not Python, but it does embody. It can embody Python. Like I've seen IEC stacks where there's some Python scripts there, especially in a lot of cloud init files. Cloud init files are basically cloud within IECs that basically kick off the that they're a part of the boot up process when a virtual machine is booting up. These are the services or applications you want to run right directly at boot up. You'll read in the cloud init files. Some really good engineers, who just want to save themselves time, would write a Python script that easily lists out the services to launch when the virtual machine launch. So Python learning it is very handy. I will say though, Python probably gets more hype on the cloud engineering end than actual bang for your buck, because I would say probably most cloud engineers, even in the field, don't know Python. Like I can read Python, okay. I can't write Python that well. I'm not that proficient in it. And a lot of engineers, most engineers I know, aren't proficient in writing Python at all. They haven't went past print hello world yet in their Python training. If you study Python, you know exactly what I mean. Um, yeah, learning Python is critical. It can be it's one of those luxury skills, I'll say, to have as a cloud engineer. Definitely probably more mandatory if you're going to DevOps route, cloud DevOps, or if you're going to if you're basically doing cloud DevOps, maybe even some cloud data engineering. Definitely if you're on the front end dev stack, but that's outside the scope of what we talk about anyway. But dev work, a lot of devs know Python pretty good, but JSON is actually the king script. JSON and YAML are actually the kings of when it comes to writing out really good IAC infrastructure as code stacks. It's a lot easier to read. It's a lot easier to configure. You just have to worry about syntax, making sure everything is formatted correctly. And then, of course, learning the language of what that cloud service provider, how it communicates in JSON, as far as like the naming structure of everything. But JSON, you can really pick that up on the go. So when you're doing your projects and you're trying to find cloud projects to do to add to your resume and add to your skill set, add infrastructure as code as one of your projects. Get in that command line. Yeah, baby, get in that command line. Open that IDE. Me personally, I use Visual Studio Code. I don't know what y'all use. If y'all got any other recommendations for good IDEs, make suggestions in the comments. But hey, Miss Williams. Is this Christian Cartagena Christian? I just need to know. Or is it another Christian? I need to know before I finish my final sentence statement to you. But what's happening, Christian? Welcome to have you. Glad to see you. Show us what you're drinking. But IEC. So do IEC infrastructure as code projects. Those projects you're gonna constantly run into walls, but I swear doing infrastructure as code projects has a double-edged sword where you're doing a very important skill that's still kind of cutting new age, because Most companies haven't adopted it yet in their cloud infrastructure. It's kind of advanced automation, but at the same time, it's also going to make your coding skills go through the roof. Like you're going to be forced to learn code, how to code. And code, don't think of code is not scary. Like it's not a scary thing. You're going to learn JSON, you're going to learn Linux, you're going to learn YAML, you're going to learn, and you're going to find out how easy these things are to learn when you just repetitively do the same task over and over. And you're going to repetitively do the same task over and over because you're going to run into walls and you have to start over from things. So IEC projects are a tremendous. I see all my students do their IEC projects, and it builds that confidence and being able to have technical prowessness and being able to execute tasks, being able to interview, and able to perform on job. Your confidence just goes through the roof when you start really doing more and more IEC projects. And plus, you can do so many things with it, and it makes your time much, much more easier. All right. So the first one is cloud service provider. Second one is infrastructure as code. That's the second skill. Yeah, Python is sensitive as hell, man. Oh my God. Yeah. I'm trying to think of some Python scripts or commands I know off the top of my head now, but I know I can't think of any off the top of my head because again, I'm okay with Python as far as reading it, and I'm almost poor at writing it. And plus it's the tequila. So I can't even go that deep with you. But Python is great. Python is again a luxury skill more than anything in cloud engineering. So if you got it, yeah, your navigational skills are going to be uh, a lot more. You're going to have a lot more options in this field because you can go into so many roles. Amsterdam. Oh, all right. My bad, Chris. My bad, Christian. All right, Chris. But what you drinking on, Mike? What you drinking on, man? Amsterdam. Oh my God. Are you high right now? I just want to know because I know green is legal over there. Are you high right now? You got some green, extra green in your green tea. But shout out to Christian, man. I love my London people, man. Yusuf usually be in here from London, but I know he probably is. Oh, it's like 1 o'clock over there, right? And cheers to you, Christian. Christian Yusuf ain't been around the block for a minute. I guess I don't know what's going on with Christian. I don't know if he's running from us or what, or he got some ops out here in the tech world. But Christian, you might be taking Yusuf's place. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Okay, yeah. See, it's too cold outside for me to be having a stogie right now, but so I'm doing this inside with this hot light next to me. So I'm trying to keep from sweat. But and I'm drinking, and I got this doing the most. All right, number 3. Now, I'm not going to say this is a mandatory skill. I'm going to say this number 3 is more of I'm going to count this as a luxury skill too. However, and I mentioned this before, if you get this certification, you can damn near walk in the door in any organization that uses this type of infrastructure, or that's trying to migrate to this type of infrastructure. And they're always looking for professionals who at least are certified. Like this is one of those skills where they just want you to be. If you have the certification, if you know how to do it, excellent. But if you have the certification, you're going to bypass so many have to explain yourself doors, and then you know how to do it. King of the hill. You run things, and you have a minimum salary requirement, a minimum 6-figure salary requirement, if you know this well. Containerization and orchestration technologies. Who is that? None other than Kubernetes, baby. Kubernetes containers. Container. Now, the thing about containers is containers you don't have to be a Kubernetes SME. I don't want any of you going out here and trying to build too many Kubernetes projects or applications on your own, because that cost will sneak up and bite you in your arse. But there are safe projects you can do out there, smaller ones that'll give you enough Kubernetes exposure where you can pass your certification and have some Kubernetes skills. A lot of companies out there most companies out there just don't have Kubernetes in the infrastructure, but they would love to have it. Especially banks. They would love to have it. And they're eagerly looking for Kubernetes engineers. Containerization. And the reason for it is because with containerization, you basically But containerized, that was my student, by the way. Well, containerization basically it allows you to basically break up your provide microservices and microservices and break up your whole account, your servers into smaller informal servers that can compute that have can run very small jobs at a fraction of a cost that uphold a monolithic server. So it just makes it easier for a company to be able to receive, especially companies that have does lots of transactions, like a bank. It's easier for their computing infrastructure to be able to create microservices to handle the requests coming through because there's so many at one time where it doesn't overload a server, which overloads their cost, where they can just take care of those requests in bite sizes through containerization. And so in learning containerization, you're gonna have to get good at first Docker containers, learning Docker. And you can learn Docker containers relatively easy, even though you can go deep into Docker, but just to learn it enough to be able to add that image onto containers, you can learn Docker. You can just sit back and run a few Docker commands and learn the commands, learn how to push images, pull versions of images. You can pick up Docker pretty fast, but containers, getting into Kubernetes, you'll be a beast. It's going to take a while, though. It's a learning curve with Kubernetes. Am I making sense so far, y'all? Am I saying anything that's kind of like going over your head too far left? Am I going too fast? Am I making sense? Am I being clear and direct enough about what these skills are and why they're imperative that cloud engineers have them? Especially if you're a cloud engineer coming in, and especially if you're a cloud engineer wanting to rise within your current organization or rise to a higher organization that's going to more, compensate you more. Okay, cool. So again, I don't want you to go out here in the world and try to learn all these skills overnight. Give yourself time. I always say give yourself at least 3 months, 3 to 6 months to pick up these skills. Same thing with gaining a certification. But if you're looking for skills to just focus on for the next 6 months of your life, these are the top 5 skills that you need to just laser focus on because they're going to be around for a long time. All right, like decades long time, probably at least for the next 25 years. Then we're going to have quantum computing come in and wipe everything out, but that's a whole nother conversation. All right, so but yeah, so that's Kubernetes. So and in learning Kubernetes, it's just, man, that's just going to take, and there's so many great content out there on YouTube. This is one girl, I forgot her name, but I was just watching because I'm studying for my Kubernetes CKNA right now, and I'm watching her stuff, and I'm also doing some exam pro stuff that I'm following, and she makes it really, really easy and quick, and highlights the main. But I also have exposure to working with containers, so that's kind of my advantage. But containers, man, I remember one interview I did with a guy. He said, literally, if I had that Kubernetes, that CKA certification, he would have gave me the job. He would say, I would have just given you the job because I need somebody that has that cert, that's credentialed, that could, teach my team on how to use it. And as the more I'm learning about Kubernetes and containers, I'm like, man, I could eventually see myself getting to a point where I can teach it. But it can be intimidating. I get it. Kubernetes containerization can be intimidating. You got to learn YAML. You got to learn the components of Kubernetes. You got to learn about clusters. You got to learn about control planes, etc. But and like I tell my students, it's hard. It's difficult, but it's very doable. Very doable. All you need is a little bit of consistency, a little bit of studying each day or a couple of days a week, and not just studying with your face, the terms, but studying through projects, a little bit at a time. You'll get really, 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 really good. So, Cloud Ninja. I think I heard of Cloud Ninja before. I'm gonna look Cloud Ninja up. I appreciate that. I appreciate that recommendation. I'm saying share the goods with the people, man. Stop holding out. Matter of fact, let me see if I can find her right now. I'm gonna give her credit. I don't want to just say her because they'd be like, if it was a guy, you would find his name. Let me see. Her name is Tech World with Nana. she's a beast, and she a beast on LinkedIn. Um, Tech World with Nan. I actually been following her for years. I started with her in learning Docker, believe it or not. So yeah, she has this Kubernetes in an hour crash course for absolute beginners. Amazing. I listened to it. I listened to most of it while I was at the gym on the elliptical. So it helped me get through about 50 minutes of cardio, and it was really good. So yeah, that's her name. Um, Tech World with Nana. A coworker mentioned IDE. What's that again? What's the abbreviation for IDE? Anybody know? I know what IDE is, but I never know the abbreviation. Let me see. I mean the acronym. I keep saying abbreviation. It is integrated development environment. So here's how I explain it, especially when I'm talking to tech recruiters for jobs and stuff, because they never know what any of this tech stuff really means. And I try to make it simple, a simple explanation for them. IDE, think of it like your chalkboard. No, think of your IDE like your work desk for developers. Yeah. So it's basically what engineers use, tech engineers use to code on. They write their code, on an IDE. The most popular one, like I said, the one I use is Visual Studio Code, is completely free. There's other ones out there as well. I have not. It's Mobile X, I think is what I have my students using. There's all types out there, but it's basically it's how you get your code from. It's organizing all your code on your local machine, being able to write your infrastructure as code on your local machine, and then you have to download third-party apps like a Terraform tool, a utility tool to push it out to the cloud or push it out to the server. All right, so you're just your IDE is always your workspace, basically. So just think of it that way. Yeah, that's basically the simplest way to use it. And most engineers use it. Use an IDE. I mean, all your engineers use some form of IDE, and it's critical in infrastructure as code. It helps you like logically see your code instead of you having to go into the command line. The command line is always there, but the command line is small. You have large portions of code, especially infrastructure of code. You got to make sure your font and your syntax is correct. Your format is correct and your syntax is correct. And you need a bigger workspace to be able to view that. And usually that's an IDE. So really old school engineers use some old stuff. I forgot the name of it. Like it doesn't have no colors, no razzle dazzle, no sparkle, no nothing. But newer age, not newer age, but today, we use modern IDEs such as Visual Code Studio because it has all the colors, tells you what's wrong, which ones have errors in it, etc. All right. So would you say mop scale? Mop scale. I like that name. Mop scale. Drinking water is always boring. No, that's fine. Which route would you say is the fastest? Before I'm gonna answer this one, then I'm gonna proceed with the last two top skills that cloud engineers need to have. All right. Which route would you say is faster for beginners to get the first offer? We talk about this all the time. Cloud engineer, solutions architect. You definitely not getting to know solutions architect. Solutions architect is based on experience, plain and simple. You can get every certification in the world. They're still not hiring you as a solutions architect in most cases, especially today. And that's just simply they want you to have the experience. And not just that you don't have technical ability. They want you to have experience of explaining very technical complexities to C-suite level executives who don't have any technical training in the background. And that comes with just time and experience. And they have to be able to trust that you can do that. And one of the main ways the indicators that they can trust you can do that is if you have experience, having showcased that you've done it before. So unless you coming in from working for yourself and doing something similar, you're gonna have to get into some roles for them to become a solutions architect. But the fastest way is if you want to do it within the next 3 months and you want to become a cloud engineer, then I'm gonna tell you the fastest way. The fastest way is to go get your CCNA this month and go get your Kubernetes CKA certification. I want to see you pull that off. The fastest way isn't always the best way, y'all. It's about doing things with efficiency so you don't have to look back. All right, I got the whole channel was filled with all the goods and all the the skills and all the certifications and all the product. Like, I provide a lot of free content for you all to be able to utilize at your own discretion to know, to help you ensure that your path that you're going to becoming a cloud engineer or cloud security engineer is as direct as possible, within a 6 month to 1 year time span. But yeah, if you want the mop, if with your water in your hand, if you want the surest answer, there you go. Everybody else, don't you take that advice. Don't you go and get don't you wreck your brain trying to become a CCNA this month and then a Kubernetes administrator, certified certified Kubernetes administrator, all in the same month. You're gonna wreck your brain, especially if you ain't touched this stuff none before. But that's the fastest way. You ask for the fast way, that's the fastest way. All right, so we're gonna go into number. I support engineers. Hey, I appreciate that, Linda. You ain't tell us what you drinking, Linda. You asking all these questions. You ain't making all these comments. You ain't tell us what you drinking. Shame on you. Shame. All right. Number 4. The number 4 top skill that all cloud engineers should have. And this is, again, either you're going into your first cloud engineering role, cloud security role, or you're looking to level up from your current cloud engineer role, cloud security role, to the next tier of that role, either within that organization or the next one. You need to have cloud security knowledge. That is key. And I'm not even going to say cloud engineers going on. You just need to have these skills as cloud, because most cloud engineers don't have all of these top 5 skills. Damn sure not proficient in all top 5. But just as a cloud engineer, cloud security engineer in general, if you want to be great and be able to have that security of job, that sense of job security because your skills are that pristine, these are the top 5 skills you need to have. All right. You need to be proficient in all these areas. And that way, if you get laid off, whatever, you're not worried, because you can easily pick up a job anywhere. Why? Because all 5 of these skills are actual engineers. All right. They're all different professions in cloud. All right. In tech. All right. There's cloud engineers out there. There's cloud infrastructure engineers out there. There's Kubernetes containerization engineers out there. And the next one, number 4, is cloud security knowledge. You need to know cloud security. And I'm going to say one of the biggest misnomers that a lot of people have coming into cloud and studying cloud engineering is they overlook the fact that IAM, identity and access management, this is one of your core competencies that when you're studying for either your practitioner or even your associate level certifications, no matter the cloud platform, that they go over IAM. Do not overlook that bad boy because it looks simple and it looks sweet and it looks soft. IAM goes deep, all right? Especially when you start dealing with IDPs, baby. Woo! And those policies that you write are crucial. It's security. IAM is security because it determines who and what has access when. All right? Literally. So cloud security, all right? You got to, you drinking that cranberry juice? Okay. Get the Great Goose with the cranberry juice. Hey, that's that Jesus for you. You know what I'm saying? You don't know nothing about that, Linda. It's all good. We're gonna get you up to speed. All right. Cloud security. You need to be learning about IAM provisioning. You need to be learning about networks. And when I say cloud networks, you need to be learning about what's a subnets. You need to learn about the difference between a public and a private subnet. You need to learn about networking groups, how they are networking groups, I think, are stateful, I want to say. Yeah, stateful, I believe. Somebody check me if I'm wrong. But you need to learn about networking groups. You need to learn about ingress rules, egress rules when it comes to net security groups. All right. You need to be learning about NACLs, all right, how they intertwine within a VPC. You learn about a VPC, all right, your cloud VPC in particular. You need to learn about all things of cloud security. And I haven't gotten to the compliance side, which is dealing with logs and metrics. You need to understand CloudWatch logs or logging period in general. Those are all security metrics of cloud engineering, security aspects. All right. You don't need to be a SME, but you need to know enough to be able to explain it, because when you're building out these cloud engineering projects, you're touching all of these components anyway. All right. You need to be able to speak to why you utilize certain components in your infrastructure, in your project, in your app stack, in your application. Why did you use these certain components? Why did you use these security features over others? All right. I'm trying to help you become competitive as possible as a cloud engineer that's going into the role, that's being in the role, and that's want to rise within the role. All right. Cloud security. What are some good cloud security projects? I think I mentioned this before, but a good one is building out and I probably do need to do a whole video about this, about cloud security projects. That's definitely gonna be one. I'm gonna definitely have to bring a cloud security engineer to speak more on that as well, because I know it, but there's cloud security engineers know it much more deeper than I do, to be honest with you. But a good cloud security project is setting up, like for instance, setting up provisioning, um, uh, I would say about 100 or so users to have access to a domain controller, or have access to a client that's connected to a domain controller. So setting up a domain controller, setting up a client. Client is just like a regular Windows virtual machine or Linux machine, and then you want to be able to, from that DC, from, well, within that cloud IAM, create you know, it doesn't have to be 100. It can be a dozen, at least a dozen users, and you want them to have various access to that Windows client. You know, that's a good project to have, because you can speak to what IDP you use. How did they, you know, did they use MFA? What's the group policy you wrote for it? How did you determine who has access? What about somebody who has access and they're not in the location they said they're supposed to be in to be able to access? Like, you can a point in time access. So many things you can do with IAM. Just, you know, just Google IAM projects, Google cloud security projects, Google logging, security logging projects. You know, you can find these projects all around, but we definitely specifically do some in my group, in my boot camp. Um, Working with Centennial One, working with Carbon Black, working with Prometheus. You know, these are all great security tools out there, and tons of security projects. It's not as deep. You don't have to think about cloud securities. You don't have to go as linear as, or you don't have to go as vast as traditional red, green, blue team cyber security roles, or the industry is being marketed as right now, because it's so freaking vast. You don't have to go and learn everything about security. All right. But if you want to go into the cloud security realm, yeah, you need to get really good at policies, or at writing correct policy, good policies. You need to learn about organizations. Not organization is, oh, this an organization, that's an organization. No, that's a technical cloud term. Organizations, you need to learn about cloud governance. You need to learn about, you know, it's a lot to dig into, but you can build enough proficient skills to be able to be employable, and most importantly, to be you know, to be a mentor to somebody else who's trying to come up and learn cloud security. You know, and most importantly, be able to elevate your own career within cloud security. I've worked with many cloud securities who didn't know a lot about cloud security. They were security engineers who just happened to be masking as cloud security engineers because that's what their title was, but they didn't know much about the cloud. You know, but much of the cloud is duplicated off of on-premise security anyway. It's just learning the terminology and where all the services are within that cloud platform. So hopefully that answered your question, first class. If it didn't, ask me again when I'm sober. No, I'm just playing. But yeah, hopefully that answers some of your question. But yeah, that's number 4. It's cloud security. Learn cloud security, man. Get good at it, man. I probably do, and that's, as a cloud engineer, you're going to have some responsibilities that lie in dealing with cloud security. Like, you're going to have, especially if you're working in the support center role, a supporting role, even I can't even really think of a role, even an IC role. I can't even think of a role where you're not dealing with security as a cloud engineer, because you're going to have to be provisioning users, IAM users, decommissioning IAM users, dealing with the NACL, dealing with security, blocking, whitelisting IPs, blacklisting IPs. Like, You're gonna do a lot of security actually as a cloud engineer. You're more closer than a cloud security engineer than you are a cloud DevOps engineer as a cloud engineer. I tell you that. How about that? And that's a beautiful thing about learning. When you train for a cloud engineer, since it's like the overarching role of all the other roles, because it literally touches every facet of the cloud, you learn everything, and then you find something you want to really get good at, and you specify or niche down into that area of cloud, i.e., cloud security. So and the cloud security can be fun, man. It can be really fun. You get some cool meetings, some cool intel, and the job is pretty much lax for the most part. Very crucial, probably the most important role, because if the wrong person gets into the the tech infrastructure, your company is screwed. They can lock up everything. So it's highly critical, but man, it's so rewarding. It's so cool. So yeah. That's cloud security. All right. And the last, anybody want to guess what the last skill you need to have as a cloud engineer? Last top 5 skill. Anybody want to guess? I appreciate that, G. I appreciate that. And always, when it comes to Google these projects. And if you want to run a project by me, I'm open. Just shoot me an email. Say, hey, Domingos, I'm trying to train to become this kind of cloud professional. I'm thinking about doing this project, or I started on this project. Do you think it's a good project for the direction I want to go in? And I'll tell you yes or no. Who that? Blow Miv V. Yes, you're late. And you're late, and you didn't even tell us what you're drinking. How you walk through the door with a cup and a glass and you ain't telling us what's in it? Yeah, absolutely, you late. Yeah, you late. You're damn right. Communication. There we go with some more soft skills. Communication, like I told y'all before at the beginning of this, outside of technical skills, is the number one skill you need to have as a cloud tech professional. Communicate. You need to be able to communicate flat out. You need to be able to give people direct answers. You need to be able to discern when to be nice, when to be stern, because you can't treat everybody the same. All right. You can't just be one way with everybody and expect to thrive in this field. All right. You will become that person that people at work isolate themselves from. All right. And that's going to cause you to miss out on key information. All right. And plus communication, just you want to be a great person to work with anyway. And you do that by having really good communication skills. Palm wine from the motherland. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Cheers to you, Blum V. Tell me how to pronounce that. Make sure I'm not pronouncing it right. Blum V. And that might just be your YouTube name. That ain't your real first name. I'm just fine. But palm wine, man, that sounds so elegant and elevated. My wife would love something like that. But what brand is it? What kind of wine? But I guess palm wine, I don't know enough about. I just know Chardonnay, Pinot, and sweet red, and the little footprint $5 wine. That's all I know about. But palm wine, good. Sounds elevated. Elevated is a fancy word. Me and my wife watch a lot of Food Network shows, and elevated is a fancy term of how you elevate food. So, all right, the last but not least, ain't gonna hold y'all too long. I've been holding y'all all night. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Make sure that y'all subscribe. All right, hit the notification bell so that you know when we go live, so you don't be late like Blumvy here at the late hour sipping palm wine. He probably was too intoxicated and was like, I forgot. Oh, take a night start. Oh man, So make sure y'all subscribe, man. Always share with your people. Comments always appreciated. And yeah. All right. Last skill. Now, this is, I would say, this is one of those skills where it's a nice to have, but sometimes it's also in that gray area between nice to have and mandatory as a cloud engineer. Like you won't even get really looked at if you didn't have this skill on your resume and if you didn't know how to speak to any of this. All right. It's become pretty common. especially in the agile process of things, project management. This skill as a cloud engineer is pretty important. All right. So I'm gonna actually lean towards as a mandatory skill you need to have. Um, and that and this ties into infrastructure as code skill we talked about. It's actually ties into everything because you push everything through it. It's called DevOps practices. All right. So these are your CI, CD pipeline skills. All right. That's continual integration and continuous development. What that basically is, it allows you to be able to collaborate with other engineers, regardless of the title, front end, the back end, and building out infrastructure all at the same time, collaborating on one product y'all trying to push out or one environment y'all trying to stand up, or even an environment you're trying to decom. These DevOps skills of knowing the CI/CD process or the CI/CD development tools, um, it will make your IAC projects and like dance in the rain. It will make your skills as a cloud engineer like you will feel like you reached super saiyan levels. You will feel empowered. You'll be a great asset to most organizations because they're still building out their CI/CD pipeline. Last company I worked with last year, actually, I got brought on to help them build out their CI/CD pipeline, and that's knowing things like Jenkins, knowing how to build a tunnel in Jenkins. Um, that's knowing things like GitHub. Got to learn them Git commands, baby. Git push, Git merge, Git pull. That's learning. I said Jenkins builds. Um, that's learning things like um, I mean, you got Prometheus is one, but that's Grafana is one. Another those are more latter in special niche, depending on the organization. But mainly Git. You need to know Git commands. Excuse me, Git commands because Git you're going to work out of GitHub for organizations that have a CI/CD pipeline in place or trying to use a pipeline. They're either going to use GitHub or Bitbucket. All right. Last organization I was with used Bitbucket. They both use Git commands. All right. Some company organizations use also GitLab. So using like knowing the Git, learning Git commands. And yeah, and I'm gonna do a whole video one time about these GitHub certifications that came out that GitHub developed, HashiCorp developed. I think it's I think it's more cap in it than actual profit, like for an engineer to get this certification. The training of it is more important than the certification, a GitHub certification, to be honest with you. But that's just to see. We're gonna see how it flushes out into the job market and if employers start checking for it, especially from cloud engineers. I can see if anything, they might start checking from DevOps for cloud DevOps engineers or dev engineers, but we'll see. Anyway, learning GitHub, learning Git commands, man, it's a game changer. You can literally be brought on to companies to help them build their CI/CD pipeline. That can literally be your job. You can do that as a contractor, all right, and have multiple clients, multiple organizations that you help. Your skill is you help them build out their pipeline. That means you know Jenkins very well, you know GitHub very well, all right, or GitLab very well, or well just Git very well. Just learn Git commands. Doesn't matter if you do GitHub or Bitbucket. Just learn Git. Learn the Git commands. Learn the Git tree. Learn how things work. How to revert a Git. And you can pick those things up. I didn't know that in my second role. My second role is where I started getting really technical. Oh, my bad. Yeah, I didn't even read these comments. My bad. Cabernet, good wine for eating steak with. Ooh, I like that. Okay, I'm gonna take your word for that, first class. I'm gonna take your word for that. I'm gonna go get me some Cabernet when next time I have wine. I mean steak, and I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna send you a pic. I'm gonna post a picture and say this for you, first class. All right. So let me go through some of these comments before I finish my statement. As a cloud engineer, are they use CI/CD tools? Oh, I just spoke to that. I think. Yeah. Yes. Most companies use it. Yes. Most companies use it. Doesn't mean the role as a cloud engineer, depending on the role that you have, because some cloud engineers are leaning towards support roles. So you're more so just fixing things that are broken in the cloud or fixing connections that are lost from on-premise devices or on-premise servers that are trying to connect to the cloud. But um, it's one of those, I would say, mandatory. I would say you need to learn a CI/CD tool. At least learn how to utilize the basic functions of Git commands. Run basic Git commands. And I'm gonna be honest with you. In most cases, I've never had an interview, and I've done, Lord knows, I've done a well over 50 to 60 interviews, probably, and that's just being modest. I've probably done way more interviews than that. Um, I've never been asked about they asked me, do I know CI/CD tools? Have I used them before? I'm like, yeah, yeah, I've used GitHub. I mentioned Terraform, blah 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 blah, and they just say, oh, and Jenkins, and they'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Nobody's really going to grill you about how well you know it. Just you need to know it enough to be able to push code to the repository and pull code from the repository. That's really how well you need to know it to get started. All right. And then from there, you can learn the rest because you're gonna make mistakes as you're building it, and you're gonna be forced to learn it. All right? So, but yeah, but yeah, that's. I think I hopefully I answered your question. Blom V, my bad, bro. My bad. I left you on red. My bad, bro. My bad, bro. Blame it on the tequila, bro. All right. Evening, Dalton. What's happening? What's cracking, Dalton? What's going on, brother? What you sipping on tonight, man? Git commands. Yep, git was actually git as in Git. 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 Git commands. Yeah, but Git commands are essential. Again, like similar to Docker. Um, you can pick this stuff up. You can pick up Git commands fairly easy. It's just more so getting in the routine of using it often. And that is thing with Git. When you're not using Git, like I haven't used Git in probably what 3-4 months now, and you'll start to lose a bit of it, which you used to, because you do it. I used to do it so much every day that it becomes muscle memory. At this point. Um, but it's one of those things you literally can't just pick up a book and read on it. You have to just run these commands. So create a little repository where you're pulling code from your IAC is your perfect perfect place to start with. Build the IAC on your local machine. Infrastructure is called like build. Like for instance, if you have for a project, you want to start your cloud project, whatever, and you say, okay, I want to build out a server. I want to build out a cloud server in the east, and I want to build out a server in for the west region, where you have your infrastructure code set up. Say you went through all the steps of how to set up your infrastructure in your code on your local machine, and you want to push things out. You want to push these changes that you're making to your infrastructure. Practice with Git pull, like you want to push it up to a GitHub, store it in the GitHub repository, and then just edit it, work on it from your GitHub, make the the most basic template you can, and put it in your GitHub repository, and then pull it to your local machine using GitHub Git pull. Of course, you got to set up your SSH tokens and all that. And GitHub is actually excellent at telling you how to set up your repository, how to pull from your repository, set it up on your local machine. Actually, really great. GitHub has some really good documentation. All right. Plus, there's tons of videos out there, but it's fairly easy to do and set up. It can be intimidating. I know it'll look intimidating, but trust me, you will get that, and it'll be easy. Keep pulling and pushing your changes up to it until you get repetition, and then you're going to run into issues, merge issues. You have to learn how to, I can't think of the terms now, but you're going to have to learn how to merge branches or delete branches or what have you, and like start building your code as you're pulling it from your repo. That's your CI/CD. You're creating your own, again, continuous integration, continuous deployment, because as you're integrating your infrastructure with new information, you're deploying it to your repository, the changes to your repository, and then you're eventually using tools like Terraform, deploying it to the cloud. Now, if you get really good, you can deploy it to the repository, and then you do a GitHub. You connect your GitHub repository to a Jenkins server that you stood up, and you have this Jenkins app, and then from Jenkins you can push it out to the cloud. I forget which AWS and Google service does the actual pulling, um, but it'll pull your code from Jenkins as a part of the CI/CD method, and it'll spit it out to the into the cloud platform, so to build everything. It's all CI/CD pipeline. Again, people get paid to be specialists just to help build companies' pipelines. It's that high desire of a need. It just makes life easier for everybody, to be honest with you. Rebase. Yeah, Kane. Rebase, baby. Woo! You gonna have some fun rebasing, boy. I don't have some nice rebase don't drove me crazy. I was like, God, the merge not working, saying something is wrong. So you gotta rebase that mug. You gotta rebase it to the main branch and get a fresh new code. Ooh. But boy, you're gonna learn Git, and you're gonna be pretty good at it. You'll be surprised how good you get with Git pretty fast. Um, dang, you can tell I'm starting to sweat because my Scully is starting to stick to my face and stuff. But anyway, um, but yeah, that last part was about DevOps, CI/CD. Learn those skills. These are all top 5 skills, and you can learn these skills within. You become proficient enough to be able to do projects within these skills, you know, fairly quickly. I would say within 4 to 6 months of consistency, 1 hour a day, practicing each, doing a project on each. Don't just watch YouTube videos because it's easy to just watch and be visual learners. Get in there and do this stuff. Do it with the YouTube video. You know, do it with the project that's on Medium. A great place, and I'm gonna probably do one video Tech at Night theme about where to find projects and how the best way to use projects. But Medium has, if you pay that $5 fee, it's worth it. Medium, because they put everything behind a paywall. Pay that $5 fee. You're gonna find some outstanding cloud projects on Medium. You'll find some on you. You'll find a lot on YouTube too. But you have to get it with the dialect being different and everything. It'd be hard to understand uh, and hard to follow along. But Medium, man, you have lots of people who are from where you from, um, creating projects, and step by step is there. Screenshots are there. Even some give you access to their repos to be able to pull it to your repo and build out your own IIC environment. So Medium is your friend for the project. So do the projects, man. Don't just don't get into the terms of this stuff. Do projects. Remember, as I always tell you, it's projects and certs. All right, not just cloud certifications. All right. So before I leave, we've been on for a minute, 7 minutes. All right. And I'm not completely. I'm sober still, but I can feel myself if I got one more drink. But and plus I need to go downstairs, spend some time with my wife for the evening, for the rest of the evening. So, which I'm happy to do, by the way. Yeah, if I got any more questions, shoot me an email, info@bcloud engineers. All right. If you need to set up a one-on-one call with me, it's all there on the website. If you're looking for cloud engineer training for your organization, it's all on the website. All right. If you're looking for a blueprint for a cloud engineer career, it's all on the website. And if you're interested in joining our boot camp coming up this spring, I think we're gonna do a spring or summer. We're gonna do spring signups for summer boot camp. I think we're gonna do the summer boot camp from it's gonna start. We're gonna do it to July, no June and to July, but sign up I think is gonna start in March. All right, but if you want to get all those details, it's on the website. B Cloud Engineers. Breakthrough crew. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me tonight. All the newbies, welcome. This is how we do things at Tech at Night. Hopefully I provided some value for you all tonight. Answer some of you all's questions and really help you get clarity on understanding the key skills you need to focus on until you hit your breakthrough moment in the industry, or to scale up in the industry. Because I know so many things being thrown at you. You're like always it's like a red ball everywhere. Like, well, do I learn this or do I learn that? These are the top 5 skills you need to know, regardless of the role that you get into. When you're interacting with the cloud as a cloud tech professional, that's going to keep you having highly employable skills. That's whether you want to work for somebody as an employer, as a contractor, or even do business with them as a business partner. So, all right. So hopefully, I satisfied y'all tonight. Did I do y'all well tonight? Here's some feedback. Did I do you well? Did Cloud Tech Unk do you well tonight? D'Amigos do you well tonight? Y'all let me know. Y'all get quiet on me like this. I'll be like, well, there's people here, but we'll just but that am I being helpful? Am I serving? Or am I just, just shooting her? You just tuned in, Ricky? Dang. Dang, man. Dang, Ricky. Dang, bruh. We're gonna see you next week, Ricky. Same time next week. I always try to do these between hours of 7, 8ish. Start at 7, start at 8ish. It's gonna always be between those times. And I'll try to always do it on Wednesdays. So I wasn't feeling to doing today, but talking to my wife and everything, I was like, man, let me go ahead and knock it out tonight because I didn't want to do it tomorrow night. All right. But I'm glad we're here. You know what I'm saying? I love y'all support. And remember, man, keep building, man, keep clouding. And remember, always remember, you had what it took the entire time. All right, y'all, I'm out.